2. I think we're live. I might even be early. Oh, Christ almighty. Welcome. On this journey, I don't even know what kind of messaging goes with this kind of music. It's relaxing, and that is exactly what I need right now. 813-90 Bubba. Welcome to the Hummel show. Kevin isn't here. He will be here at some point, someday, one day, not sure. I'm trying to find the right amount of pressure, but not trying to be annoying. You know, when you want someone to do something, and not for, obviously for selfish reasons. I love having Kevin in studio. I also just think that we do good radio together, and I think we both really enjoy it. We got a lot of great feedback the last time that we did a show, so I would love to have him back. I did reach out to him. I just kind of said, hey, listen, open door, open invitation if you'd like to come, if you're available. If not, I'll see you soon. Like, just that cool, hey, it's a reminder, but it wasn't even like asking you a question, are you coming? It was just like, hey, just letting you know. So I think that's pretty much the best way to handle that situation. Not paid sponsorship at all, but this deep well water from Monster is fucking awesome. It's super cool. I mean, for those that are watching, I know that there is some just listening, but for those that have the visual component, I'm showing you this giant can of water, and there may have been a few in there before, but I didn't realize it was going to look like a Monster can, which is silly. Obviously, I should have known that. But very, very good. The only problem with this sort of thing is, like, once you open it, you kind of gotta. It can't, like, take you to the gym and, like, set it around. It just, you need something that you can kind of close the top of so it just doesn't go everywhere. But great water. I loved it a lot. A lot going on this week, folks. I am, like, physically, emotionally drained from just the events that have taken place over this week. Some on the show, some personal stuff. I mean, everything's good. Everything's great. Like, I'm handling. And then sometimes I get down on myself because I'm like, should I be able to handle a lot more than this? And the answer is probably. But, yeah, a lot of stuff went down. I will tell you, though, during the Allie interview, boy, my cortisol levels were at an unhealthy fever pitch, I would say, because we sent her a link yesterday for the Zoom call, and I don't know if it went to her spam or she wasn't expecting it from Macho Man or whatever, but I get a message at 11:30 last night, and of course I was asleep. So I get it this morning. She's like, hey, did you send that Zoom link? And I was like, fuck, yes, we did. So Macho sends it to her again. I send it to her. I told her we're going to be ready at 7:35. Like, I sent her probably 4 messages in a row this morning and did not get a response, which is fine. Like, I wasn't really asking for one, but it would have just been nice to know that she was there. So I had no indication that she was going to be available. I had not heard word at all that this morning, not one peep, that she got the link, that everything's cool, that she's ready to go. So, and Macho can attest to this. I was standing up, like, in the corner watching Bubba try to get on the Zoom call, and I'm just absolutely shitting myself. I'm like, I swear to God, because of course I have a track record, much like every time we bring on fighters on this show, they tend to lose. So I have a track record whenever I try to book a guest that they usually bail, or they just stop responding, or, just it gets fucked up in some capacity. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I remember seeing we have like 1 minute left till we go live, and Bubba's getting antsy, as anybody would, because they've prepared for this interview. They've teased the interview, and they're ready for the interview, and it's not connecting. She's not connecting. I was just like, please, Jesus. And then all of a sudden there was a speck of hope. There was a flash of light, and Jesus came through the clouds, and made my wishes a reality. So I just want to shout it out to Jesus and God. I turned to Dan. I'm like, I'm going to church this weekend because that was awesome. That was nothing but divine intervention and an answered prayer. So I felt so relieved. Once I saw her face, I was like, fuck me. And I don't know if you guys experienced this, but after like an intense emotional adrenaline rush, you have like this adrenaline dump where you're just like you're exhausted, you're drained. Usually you're not exhausted and drained by like, 7:45 a.m., but here we are. So just very glad that it went well, that Bubba seemed to like her and she seemed to be open to the show. But then it's also like, let's just stay on abortion. Let's not talk about anything else. And Dr. Dan started to creep. I think he made a reference to like COVID and the vaccine. And I like flashed him a look. I'm like, shut the fuck. Let's just keep it on where we agree. Let's keep harmony. Because right now, less conflict would be nice, and just over the course of the last few days. I mean, yesterday, I think I even spoke to Brian from Philly about this. It's just like the amount of like excitement and sorrow and drama and chaos of yesterday's show was that one day or a couple weeks or a few months? Like, it just seemed to be an insane amount of highs and lows with, unfortunately, the thing that shocked me the most was Yippee Brando. That is tremendously sad. Young guy, and again, I'm not going to claim that I knew him. I knew him in a very jovial setting. I would see him a few times a year, him and Uncle Eric, and he always came to the Tarpon games and Barp, and was just, like an avid Bubba Army enthusiast and contributor, whether it be socials or money, Yippee Brando, 1,000 bits. But that was, and also that he has a kid that's like probably less than a year old. Just really tragic stuff. And especially at the hands of suicide, which in my mind, I'm like, damn, that, like, could that have been prevented if someone was there to kind of catch him right at the right time? Yeah, just really, really sad stuff. So to hear that news, and then, which is obviously the most important and certainly the saddest, and then also to have the news of the YouTube, which is something that we've all been working very hard for to get to that 100,000. And we know that it's really important to all of us, but it's Bubba's brand, and it's really, really important to him, and rightly so. He's more invested than the rest of us. We obviously want it to do well, but I feel like, at least I'll speak for myself, my priority is to like keep him happy and make sure that like things are well, because like a happy wife, happy life, but it's like happy Bubba, happy life. So we just kind of want to keep him at bay. So I'm really glad that it all got sorted out and we're on the road to victory. But sometimes when you take a hit like that, even if you come up on it on the other side, like you don't immediately feel relief. You feel like, fuck, like I just really got fucked with. My cortisol levels are through the roof. I don't feel like I'm at ease or can relax. Because after something like that, even if it turns out to be okay, maybe you feel an ounce of relief or maybe even a little bit more. But now you have this like heightened sense of paranoia where you're like, fuck, that could be lurking around any corner, anytime I'm trying to progress. It just seems like there's someone to take me down. And how many times do I have to fucking get creative to get, not through the woods, but around the woods or under the woods, or, let's go on Rumble and then Twitch and then Kick and then this. And then it's Brian from Philly. $20. And then, we had the wiring and the mic deal. So just a lot of stuff. And then it's not slowing down, folks, because tonight we have Bubba 199, which is probably like one of my favorite things that we do. I know we do it like more than Barp and stuff like that, but I really do look forward to it. It's a good time. Most of the time, everyone is in a good mood. The ladies are hot. People are drinking or mushrooming. And I'm excited to see some folks I haven't met before and some folks that I haven't seen in a minute. I'm excited the Nashes are coming. We're going to celebrate OFF. It's just going to be a good night. So make sure you tune in to that. It's going to be 8 to 10 on Rumble and Twitch. Yes, that's correct. And then tomorrow we got the Stogies and Spirits, I believe, in Orlando and Sanford, which is a cool 2.5 hours away. And shout out to Dr. Dan for organizing the Sprinter and Rob Elder, who have yet to, did I say his name right? Rob Elder? Yeah, Elder Ford. I have yet to meet. Would like to meet him. I hear a lot about him, but grateful to both of them for organizing the Sprinter for us. And so we can have a good time and not have to worry about navigating or driving home fucked up, because that's never good. We don't want to end up like Orlando in Orlando, if you know what I mean. Let's take a call. Hello, who's this?
Is this the phone screener for the Seth Kushner show?
Yeah, hey,
sorry.
what's up? Yeah, that's another element, but I was leaving that
You
one.
love it, don't you?
Yeah, love what? Love what? Exactly.
Getting screwed with. You love getting screwed with. I mean, obviously, if we didn't screw with you, you wouldn't think we actually even knew you were there.
Right. Yeah. Like I said before.
I mean, honestly.
Right. I mean, thank you for making me feel more significant than I was before. Just or insignificant, I should say. No, I understand. There's a good ratio, I think, of stability and homeostasis to chaos. Well, that makes it exciting. Right? Like a relationship that is always going well maybe gets a little bit stale if you're always in agreement and always in harmony with one another.
Well,
But
don't you want to be with someone who always has to like keep you on your toes?
No.
I mean, isn't that a thing? Oh, it's not a thing?
No. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. But when you start to reach a chaos level that's reaching in the 50, 60, 70 mark, you go from like eustress, which is like excited stress, like, oh, this is exciting, oh, chaos, oh, conflict, to fuck this, like, this is just stressing me the fuck out. It's not fun anymore. So I'm really trying to bring down the stress levels, but it's been a wild week. And yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Seth coming back is.
Does that freak you out?
It freaked me out. It doesn't freak me out, but it makes me feel uneasy, for sure.
Yeah, so it worries you a little bit. That's all. Just
I mean, I think anybody would be when you know that a person that actively tried to get you fired. I don't really care what Seth said. I've heard from multiple sources. And most would be like, oh, let's tell you. Yeah, I mean, there's cameras and microphones everywhere. So just because the red light isn't on doesn't mean people can't hear what's going on. And also, Bubba straight up told me, yeah, Seth tried to get you fired multiple times. I'm like, okay, like, so when you have multiple sources corroborating, telling you that someone who, and God bless him, like, he brought me on the show, and I'm forever grateful for that. But do you still get credit for that when you try to take me out? Like, if your mom makes you and then kills you after you're born, I don't think she gets credit for giving birth to you anymore. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there's a certain level of stress. I think you gotta be like, okay, what the hell are you doing here? I get it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, rest in peace, Scipio.
Yes.
And rest in peace, Redbeard, and everyone else we've lost. We lost a lot.
We have.
Sucks.
Yeah, this year and Mac. And Eddie, and Elwood, I think last year, and David Hernandez. Yeah, I mean that's just in the last like less than 2 years. So, hug your loved ones.
That's just who's in the spotlight, right? There's other people that are kind of not on camera, if you will, that we've lost too. That the people don't necessarily know their name, but
sure.
They're still in the circle, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. When are you coming to 199?
I was, if you remember, I was kind of coerced into coming to this one, but like there's too many people for me. Like when you start getting up into the 20s with I miss the creatine Travis, Big Red, Iggy, Lummy, and Bubba kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know that's never going to happen again, but it's kind of like I like the little more the
intimate,
more low key stuff, but that's just me.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm 100% decided I'm not coming, but I haven't 100% decided I am. So I'm gonna play it by ear, see how I feel about 4.
Yeah. Is it just like crowds that kind of stress you out, or?
Yeah, if we had a private conversation, you'd understand. I've been in a lot of situations.
I understand.
I've been in a lot of situations where it's like riot type situations.
Yeah.
And just more people
trigger.
moving around me kind of freaks me out. So,
hey man, I get it. I fucking get it. No further questions asked. So,
cool.
but I appreciate you calling in and giving respects to Yippee Brando.
Today, maybe not.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, Iggy. Take care of yourself, okay? Thank you. Hello, who's this?
On Hummel, Joe the supermarket.
Oh, Joe, you're live. God bless. I almost said God damn. I'm sorry. How are you doing? Not well, I assume, but it seems like you'll probably have a good attitude about your shitty situation.
Yeah, I always have a good attitude. I just got to pop off first and just let you know you're not on Facebook. Not worried, just letting you know, keeping you abreast. That's the only place I could chat. So it's
you said I'm not on.
Me,
not on Facebook. Okay. Well, I'm on YouTube, so I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. Can't chat there. I've had both accounts there ruined for no reason. But moving on. So asking about my condition and situation. So this place I'm at isn't bad. It's physically the place isn't bad. Even the people behind the desk aren't bad.
Okay, good.
The people that provide the care. See, the people at the top make the decisions, and they lay down, we're going to do this, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do this. But then they're reliant on people that can't speak any English to pull it all off.
What language are they speaking?
This is the United Nations here. I mean, at the door, there's a South African lady behind the desk. She's amazing. That's the desk stuff I'm talking about.
Right.
Moving up. I mean, there's other people.
No, but the ones that are
providing
you care that aren't speaking English, do you...
Straight garbage.
No, I was going to ask you what language they're speaking, but apparently they're just speaking straight garbage.
Well, there's you can't even tell. I mean, one lady's Haitian, another lady's from Ethiopia, another lady's from, God only knows, man. It's a melting pot, and it's not a problem if they assimilate and they know how to speak English, but none of them are born here. And they do the absolute worst work. The first lady that I met when I got here, she's basically decrepit. She looks like she's 90. She couldn't even carry in my meal tray, nor could she even pick up the bag that they left over the floor. They strewn. I had 7 bags when the EMTs brought them in.
Okay, I understand. Listen, if I could just ask a few questions, because I feel like if I don't, you're going to go on and on, which I want to hear, but I want to kind of direct the conversation into questions that I'm interested in hearing the answer to. If you were to maybe make an assessment as to the worst type of caregiver, could you assign like maybe a country that person might be from? Like, have you noticed a pattern that, let's just say, maybe caregivers from Norway aren't the most attentive? Have you noticed like a type of caregiver that just is seemingly the worst at their job? Like, from what country they would be?
I know it's a big country, but we got to button it down to Africa.
Africa is a giant country. That is very true.
I know, but I've had terrible care from Uganda. I've had terrible care from, basically now I found out Haiti is the one.
Haiti is also in Africa. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you see the common denominator here.
I don't see anything, but apparently you do.
Me to tease it, because I have to be the one to tease it. So I've had at least 7 different people. They call them aides here. They're also known as CNAs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I thought you were making like an Africa AIDS joke, but it's aid like an assistant.
Not
okay,
quite.
Got
the
you.
African aides here are the ones that are doing the work. They're the ones. See, the nurses lay down the law, and the aides have to pull it off. And then the doctor lays down the law to the nurses, and they have to try to pull it off. But even the nurses can't communicate in English. So they make it impossible to do anything. Like this morning, I rang my buzzer. I'm very nauseous at 5 in the morning when I wake up, so I get Zofran. So they should be known by now that at 5 in the morning I get Zofran. So I ring the buzzer. Somebody comes in, and I said, Zofran. She, what? Zofran, what? 4 more times. Finally, the nurse comes in. She stands by the door like they're afraid of me. Like I'm on the farthest bed in the room, and she stands by the door. What? I said, Zofran, I'm nauseous. And then finally she brought in the Zofran, but I'm dying. That's the least
of my
worries. You're saying
it's like it's pulling teeth with these people.
Oh my God, this is horrible. This is the worst, dude. I can't even deal.
Yes, you can.
And to ask me more questions, because otherwise I'll tell you more bad things.
How is your mother doing? I know that was a point of concern for you.
I barely even get to talk to her. As I was on hold, the facility over there that she's at was just calling me, but they left me a voicemail, so I'll check it after. But I do have to say this. On the flip, I don't want to just spew negativity, because I'm still positive no matter what.
Yes,
Nothing
you are.
Can break my spirit. Nothing can break my stride. Nobody going to hold me down. I got to keep on moving. So that being said,
is that a P. Diddy song or?
Remember yesterday you were, well, actually today, but we were talking about yesterday, the despair, the feeling, oh my God, like, what the hell? It really hit me at like 9:32 when Bubba was talking about how he has nobody to talk to. And yeah, you told him he's got people to talk to, but realistically, who can he really talk to, right? And
I think it also is about who you let in to your life.
Right. So somebody that you have had to have conversations with before,
yeah.
And inevitably, some of those people that you hold so dear, they do drop off over time, and sometimes we acquire new people. Not I. I have lost everybody and everything, so I have nobody to talk to. So my only outlet was using the Rumble chat, a YouTube chat, and even the Twitch chat when Twitch came back, and that was fun. And then occasionally Facebook. There's nothing going on over there. Nobody is saying anything on Facebook at all, except for yesterday. There's a bunch of negativity about you. But I'm laying there in this deep despair, and I can't. They don't come in here. Nobody comes in here, which is a good thing. But when you need stuff, it's not. So I'm laying here, can't chat, got nobody to talk to, can't call nobody. Mother won't answer her phone, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like I don't even. How can I go another day like this? What is exciting me? What is enticing me enough to say, yeah, let's keep this thing fucking going? You know,
so you had like a moment where you're like, should I consider taking myself out the game?
I would never, but I do occasionally pray that I don't wake up. I'm not going to lie to you there.
Interesting.
When things are at their worst, when I've had a horrible day and then another horrible day and then another horrible day, and nothing gets better. Everything just keeps getting worse. And the people you rely on for care and the people you rely on to get well are just doing nothing. There's absolutely nothing going on. They put me in a oh God, if I told you what happened when I got here, you wouldn't even believe it. But I want to say something positive. So I ended up in ultimate despair texting Lummox. I texted Lummox and I said, I have nobody to talk to either, because this is when Bubba was saying this. And I don't know what the hell to do. Like, I don't want to go through
but aren't there, hold on, Joe. Hold on. Are there people in the Bubba Army that you connect with that have reached out to you that you can exchange phone numbers or, organize a time to chat with them? So, you don't have no one. That's false. Right?
Well, what I'm saying is I go live on Twitch, and it's kind of like a habitat stream where you can see what's going on and see how the care I'm getting. You can see live how I interact with the people and whatnot. And I got my crew on there. I got Jason Hepner, Marie Guatemala, Tampa Terry, Jack Mahagoff, all get mixed up. All wonderful people that hang with me and stay with me while I'm here and just chill with me throughout the day.
Yeah.
So that's cool, but that's not happening during the Bubba Show. During the Bubba Show, my focus is the Bubba Show.
Sure.
But I have no tether into the Bubba Show. When I'm chatting with you, I bring up content. I don't just say good morning and leave it at that. I ask questions. I keep it moving.
Aware.
I look at the chat, and nothing's moving. It's just stagnant. So Lummox threw out a great idea. He says, hey, why don't you call Larry Buer, Sub-King?
There you go.
Give me his number. So I call Larry.
Okay.
I left him a voicemail.
We got about 3 minutes left, Joe. 3 minutes, so go ahead.
He got back to me like this, and all of a sudden he said, look, I've been doing this 20 years. I know what's good. And he laid out everything. He's like, let me call the administrator. I'm going to talk to the director. All of a sudden, yesterday afternoon on a Hummel, the world changed. All the people that were all horrible, despicable assholes all became nice, and they started having delightful attitudes, and they started doing what they were asked. And I actually got to wash my body after 3 days of nobody helping me. And I got to have a decent meal instead of having a cold turkey sandwich. And since I only have 2 minutes left, I'll tell you what happened when I first moved in here. They dropped me in my bed. Everything was cool. I have my things. I'm comfortable. Some dude comes in 3 hours later and says, hey, I got to move you out of that bed. Bad news. I set up the wrong bed. I got to put you in this one. So I'm like, oh, my God, I just transferred. I've been laying on a gurney for 3 hours. No, can't we just do this in the morning? I need to take that bed now, he said. All right, fine.
So they were going to put me on a Hoyer lift.
Do you know what that is? Hoyer lift?
Is it like a crane for a body?
Yeah, I've been in that twice, and it kills you. It kills me, at least.
Why?
So I said, I'll
is it uncomfortable, or is it like
I think
undignified.
sometimes the people use it. They put the Hoyer straps like under my armpits and underneath my horrible legs.
Oh yeah, I've seen those, and it's like this. It's like a hammock sort of thing, like almost like a swing.
I was laying real heavy, and I was 420, so that killed me.
Yeah, that's hot.
So I said, y'all stay back, put the beds together, hold them, and I'll do the work. So the biggest guy there, as I'm sliding across, I'm right between the two beds with my back. He walks away, and the bed slid apart, and I started heading for the floor. But I said,
you fell off the swing?
Not the swing. I refuse to use the swing. I will not use it. I told him you could take your cranium and shove it in your asshole because I'm not getting on the fucking Hoyer machine ever again.
Best patient ever.
I said, I'll slide across. So I'm just doing a little scoot.
Oh, you little scoot.
A little scoot boogie across from bed to bed.
Yep.
And right when I'm between the beds, they came apart with a pair of scissors.
You farted? Is that what you said?
No, I almost hit the floor. I wish
I'm sorry.
That would have been awesome.
I'm so sorry. I thought you said you ripped ass. My bad. Yeah, hey, that fucking sucks. Thank you for leaving us with that positive note going into the weekend. And I assume you'll be tuning in for 199 tonight.
Oh, I'm going to lay a decree down here. Nobody comes in my room between 8 and 7 p.m.
Shit.
I'm
okay.
Partying.
You're like the Dr. Dan of patience, you know, just making demands.
Hell yeah.
Making calls. I like it. I like it. You're assertive. You do. Well, Joe, listen, for those that are listening that would like to reach out to Joe, I'm sure he would be very receptive to your messages. So please reach out to him because the Bubba Army is exactly that. It is a community of people of all different walks of life, whether they be from, the wrestling referees or hot Guatemalans and everything in between. You can rely on each other for a community. And that's really important, especially in this time, in this era where people are struggling. We're going through a lot of shit, whether it be just current events, personal issues, or, issues of the day, whatever it may be, divorces or whatnot, death, all of that sort of stuff that we need to kind of hang together. And so community is very important. I think it's like the number one predictor for living a long life is having connection, is having something to look forward to. Because you can be in perfect health and have nobody around you, and you haven't nurtured your community at all, and you'll kick the bucket pretty soon because we are social animals and we need each other. We need community, so and a sense of belonging. So with that, Joe, have a great weekend. Appreciate you. Keep well.
God bless.
Thank
you so.
Sorry. Whew. It's just. I feel so bad, but also, like, not that I don't. I do. I fucking do. But when you're already, like, at a fever pitch of just about to lose your shit, and then someone starts, emotionally dumping on you, you have to. I was doing a lot of, breath work in my head during the phone call, just because you're just at a certain point, you've had your share of, like, bad news. And, to be honest with you, not that it's affecting me directly, but indirectly and emotionally, but the Israel-Palestine stuff certainly isn't helping. And just seeing people's responses to that, as if the terror attacks weren't bad enough, the responses to that seem to be I'm not going to say just as vile. I'm not going to say someone who's, a pro-Palestinian is as bad as Hamas. I'm not going to make that statement. But it is just disheartening to see the fact that everything needs to be justified, and people don't seem to have the sort of basic sympathy that you would expect from people in the Western world, the people that were raised in democracy and people that were raised in America and in the West. And you think that we have these sorts of values that hold our society, the fabric of our society together. And then when something like this happens, and you realize, like, oh, we're not even on the same page with this. Oh, I didn't realize. I thought we were, like, I understand that some may swing more right and some more left, but you would think at least we could agree that, close to 1,500 Israeli civilians were murdered in cold blood, that at least we could agree that is bad. But it's never met with, like, a condemning of that first. And I've been watching a lot of interviews and trying to learn a lot about the history of the region, because I certainly didn't know as much as I should have known, especially as someone who is, I don't even like to say from there, because I'm not from there. I'm from here, but I was born there, I will say. And so I certainly have like a connection to that. And even if you're not a practicing Jew, like you still have a connection to Israel most of the time. And especially me because A, I was born there. B, my parents have friends and like extended family there. But with Jews, it's a small community of people, truly. I think there's only, 15, 16 million Jews worldwide. So it's 1, 2, 3 degrees of separate. It's 2 degrees of separation, basically. You know someone in Israel. You know someone who was affected by this tragedy. And it seems like everything is met with but what do you expect to happen when Israel is X, Y, or Z? But the more history I'm learning, which I'm trying to look at with unbiased eyes, although it is hard because of, again, my affiliation with being Jewish and Israel and stuff like that. And it seems like the gist of that is that there are a lot of Palestinians that are dying, and it is very tragic, of course, no doubt. But it's weird how it's kind of severed into Israel versus Palestine, which isn't, to me, very clear that those are the opposing sides. It's Israel, the Palestinian people, and against Hamas. Like, I don't think that the Palestinian people like, ordinary civilians. And again, I think many are complicit. Do I know that for a fact? No, but also, how could it not be? The whole situation is just it's really sad and interesting to see how things will unfold in the coming months and years, because this just seems to be a situation that is just getting more and more toxic. And I would say, a lot of people make comparisons. Well, we value Israeli lives more than Palestinian lives because 1,500 Israelis have died and over 10,000 Palestinians have died. It's like, okay, but what is Israel supposed to do? Like, that seems to be a question that eludes everybody, is like, we should just have a ceasefire. Well, no, that's like if Al-Qaeda lived in New Mexico and you just had to deal with it from time to time. There was going to be a 9/11 every once in a while and people were going to seep across the border. Oh, wait, they do. But that was just something you're going to have to just deal with Al-Qaeda. You're just not going to have to, you're going to just have to not respond. You're going to have to maybe slap on the wrist and go, listen, like, let's be diplomatic about it. It's like, well, it's hard to be diplomatic with a group or an organization that in their founding documents say that they want you and every Jew on the planet eradicated. How do you come to the table and negotiate with those people? You don't. And then they run and cower like cowards, the cowards that they are. And they build their headquarters under a hospital where there's innocent civilians, or they store their rockets behind residential homes. And so what is Israel supposed to fucking do? They say leave. They tell the citizens, you got to leave, go south, go south. And then Hamas blocks them from leaving because they want as many tragedies as possible because they want to make Israel look bad and they don't care about their own people. So anyways, I'm going to probably leave that there because it's not, I really wanted to go in a more positive direction, or at least less heavy direction. But unfortunately, maybe I shouldn't be exposing myself to like this not negative media. It's just fucking what's going on, and at a certain point you go, okay, is me just like reading about this day in and day out really not worth it? But like, maybe I should take a break to kind of like reassess what's going on and try to, focus on, how can I can't really be a productive member of society when I'm just like a drone to the media, and it's sad and it's bumming me out, and, what can you really, how is that really helping? And so I'm just still like trying to figure that out. But here's something that actually helps me feel better about when things are kind of just a little bit rocky. And again, I don't have real problems. I'm aware of that. I'm sure people will come after me and say, oh no, like you don't even have real problems. And da-da-da. Yeah, I know. Yeah, totally. I know. But something that often helps me, and I'm sure helps other people, at least when I was going through some like really rocky, rough times, was to help other people through their problems. That seemed to be helpful to me, is to try to help other people problem solve, because then you're kind of getting out of your own head, you're exercising sympathy and empathy, and you're trying and just being a listening ear. Sometimes people don't need you to necessarily problem solve for them, they just want you to be a listening ear. And that's kind of what happened last night after jiu-jitsu, where I'm friends with this guy. It happens to be the same guy that fucked my knee up. So we got over that. No problem. I did bring it up last night. I'm like, yeah, I had to take a few months off because of this guy. But anyways, he went through a divorce. And it seemed to be like pretty amicable as far as divorces go. But, you know, he's lamenting to me about his ex-wife and just like the sort of shenanigans she's pulling with their daughter, which is just really sad. And he doesn't really know what to do. And he kind of like presented the situation to me and was like, what should I do? And I'm just like kind of, you know, that emoji where you're just like, I don't fucking know. Not that, and a lot of people will say, well, why would you ask her? She's like not a parent. And which I think to be, it's an odd argument to make, that just saying that having a child makes you qualified to have one. Just by nature of having one, you're now qualified to have one and have a take and stance on everything. But nevertheless, he asked me about it because his ex lives in Atlanta. He's in Tampa. And the ex has the daughter full time, essentially. I didn't even know how that happened, because they were both living in Florida, and then she just took off to Atlanta with the kid. I didn't know that you could do that. But nevertheless, the mom has the kid all the time, but he gets her, you know, a week here, a week there, and all school breaks, right? All school breaks, he said. So he's supposed to get her for Thanksgiving, which he is, the full week, and he's supposed to get her for 2 weeks during Christmas. Great. Well, then the ex says yesterday or something that, you know, the daughter doesn't want to stay with him for 2 weeks for Christmas, so she just wants to do half the time there. And then the ex kind of encourages the daughter to call dad and say, oh, dad, I don't want to stay with you. I kind of want to stay here with mom. And I don't know, you know, it sounds like she was being coached by the mom. And he came to me and he's like, I don't really know what to do, because I don't, you know, obviously I want that time with my daughter, but I also don't want to push my daughter if she doesn't want it, because I feel like that might backfire. And it was funny because, like, there's very few times where I'm like, ooh, that's a quagmire. Like, I don't know. And again, I try to think about how I was as a teenager or preteen, and the like mental gymnastics that you have to do to kind of like get what you want from the kid, all that sort of shit. So I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what I would do. But I would just say, at the end of the day, I was just like, look, you barely see the kid compared to the mom, and you should have the kid during those 2 weeks. And if the kid doesn't want to see you, well, fucking tough shit, bitch. That's just the way that it is. That is, her crying and then getting her way just seems like it is only making matters worse in terms of, you know, the parents need to be the one in charge, not the child. So I told him, I'm like, look, just tell your daughter, this is what the court wanted. Unfortunately, this is just the nature of the game. This isn't my choice or your choice or mommy's choice. This is the court's choice, and we don't want daddy to get in trouble, and we don't want mommy to get in trouble. Like, that's what I would fucking say. So I kind of presented it that way and just said, listen, this is the court's will, and we can just make it about the state, and it's really no one's decision, even though it kind of is, but we don't have to tell the kid that. So anyways, trying to help friends navigate their problems, which are worse than mine, certainly helps with, you know, making yourself feel better about certain things, and also just feeling like you're a useful part of society in your community, that you offer some sort of, what's the word, utility, I guess. You know, because a lot of times if people want to just be recognized, appreciated, and acknowledged. You know, and one way to do that is to offer someone else your services, to serve, to listen, to do whatever. Like, did I want to get going? Did I really want to talk about divorce? No, but I could tell that he did, and he was really upset by it. So I'm like, fucking let's talk it out after class. By the way, I've been killing it lately in the gym, not gonna lie. That could all change on Tuesday, but I've been doing some work with Rob Kahn, and we've been working on some shit, so I'm excited. And I like, you know, because I feel like Rob is just such a wealth of information, and he wants to like show me everything he knows. I'm like, that's not how my brain works. It has like a very finite capacity, especially like late in the evening. So I can like, show me one move, show me two moves, and then let's just fucking drill the shit out of those. Because oftentimes I'll get a little renaissance, if you will. Like a lot of the moves start the same and then I just go blank. That happens a lot where there's just a black hole. Like I'll get to step 1, 2, and then I'm like, oh, fuck. And then by that time, obviously someone's elbow's in my throat and the game is over. But it is nice though, because I do feel like I get like chiropractic work done every time I'm there, because I'll just hear like my neck just fucking popping. And I have to time those correctly because you need the pop before the choke. Even though you're getting choked, you want it to the point where you don't pass out. So oftentimes I'm like, okay, I got to time this. And then I'll hear a pop and then I tap because it feels good and it helps relieve some of the pressure. But if I wait too long, I don't want to go out. That seems like it would be a bad time. I haven't yet. I hope it doesn't happen. It kind of freaks me out. I know it's not like a concussion or anything, but when you go out due to lack of oxygen, that just seems like not safe. 813-90-BUBBA if you would like to call in and contribute to the conversation. I've been kind of loosely following this Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro drama. I'd like to hear people call in about that if they've been following it too. 813-90-BUBBA. Now, I understand that I don't want to say like it's just petty bullshit, because like it is and it isn't. It's very interesting. Listen, it's fun to watch enemies fight, but it's even more fun to watch friends or colleagues fight, right? I imagine that's probably why we're bringing certain people back from the past, so that it can create a sort of circus where we can derive more interesting content from all the tension and the uncomfortable conversations that will be had. So I'm very much looking forward to those. But I understand that people are interested. Obviously Ben Shapiro and I'm trying to think who's like popular. The Young Turks, I don't know. Someone on the left who is very vocal. I don't know. Ilhan Omar, whatever, AOC. You expect those clashes to happen because they're polar opposites. But when you have an in-group fight, I don't think anything is more riveting than two friends that are now, or colleagues in this case, that are turning on each other. Because oftentimes you have your tribe, right? And you're supposed to protect your tribe. You're not supposed to be at war with your own tribe. But oftentimes your biggest threats are the ones that you think are your friends. I think we've all experienced that in our past where we thought someone had our back. And turns out they did not. And in fact, they were, either plotting your demise or, trying to push you down to use you as a stepping stone to move ahead further in life. And that's always disappointing when that happens, but you have to just go, okay. I try not to get upset when things like that happen. It happens periodically, not all the time. I'm not going to claim that this always happens to me. If it always happens to you, it might be you. It might be you that might be the problem. But if it happens to you occasionally because people are shitty or whatever, what I've been trying to do recently when I come to the realization that the relationship I have with a certain person was not what I thought it was, instead of getting really upset, which is oftentimes what happens, I try to go, okay, we now have new information about this person and you just have to shift course. That's it. Like, I think of it more as like input output versus like just a tragedy. You go, okay, well, things were gravy until there was an intersection of, what's the word I'm looking for? An intersection of benefits. Wow. I have pretty bad brain fog. Goals, right? So if everything is gravy with you and your new partner, we can make it a romantic deal. You really don't know much about that person's character because you've always been aligned with, Yes, I would love tacos tonight. Oh, me too. Oh, I want to spend money on this. Oh, me too. Oh, I want to do this on the weekends. Oh, me too. I want to watch this on TV. Oh, me too. You don't really learn anything about a person other than the fact that you have common interests or whatever. You really learn about people when you have diametric interests or goals. And one person wants to do one thing and one person wants to do the other thing. Then how do you compromise or come to the table and work through those issues? That to me is far more telling. So, yes, at the crux of the point where you are in conflict with anyone, whether it be a coworker, a friend, a loved one, a relative, a cousin, whatever, you get to that point with someone and they act in a way that you find to be unacceptable or, is surprising or whatever. These days I just go, oh, I didn't realize. I just didn't have all the information. Now I have more information. We're building a resume of information on this person. And now we just need to adjust course. We just need to treat the person, the relationship, the situation differently. Maybe that is creating more distance. Maybe you allowed that person to get a little too close to you. They, betrayed you in some way and they hurt your feelings, or they did something that made you look like shit and made them look good, or whatever the case may be. And you just kind of take a step back and you go, okay, no problem. We just now aren't going to make that same mistake again, because that would be moronic if we were to keep engaging. I used to study when I was in college, game theory seemed to be pretty interesting to me, and like the prisoner's dilemma and like how to kind of predict behavioral outcomes when people are presented with things. The prisoner's dilemma, I feel like it would be hard for me to explain exactly what it is, but it's like there's 4 outcomes, two people involved, and you like separate them, and you're interrogating them because there's been a crime that's been committed, and you give them a couple options. You're like, hey, if you cooperate, you'll get a lesser sentence or you'll get out, and you tell both people independently, but and the best case scenario is that they both cooperate. Like they both stay quiet. They don't rat on each other. And then there's like the sucker's payoff where one of them stays quiet and the other one blames the other one. And then one person is freed and the other person has to stay in jail for like 20 years or whatever. So just kind of like these different hypothetical situations about how people, when presented with different, prizes or punishments, like what do they choose? And they found that the most reliable pattern of behavioral exchange was tit for tat. And this was done through like a computer software program, not just like real actual people, but like the most predictable and the best outcomes for like a thriving society is tit for tat. So essentially what that is person A decides without any information about person B. Again, we're just talking about dyads here. We're just talking about 2 people. Person A decides, I don't know person B, but I'm going to cooperate. I'm not going to defect. I'm going to cooperate. And then person B just does whatever person A just did. So they cooperate. And then person A cooperates. And then person B cooperates. And then that's how you do it. If there's a point in any of these situations, exchanges, if you will, where one person defects, then the next person defects. They just copy whatever the last person did, which I find to be the best method for living a productive, healthy social life. You don't want to be the type of person that some people would consider, like a mooch or someone who is a defector and just like, tells on everybody all the time. You're like, fuck this guy. Fuck John. John sucks. You tell him something and then he tells everybody. It's like, you're not going to keep giving John information, because John is a defector. And then you also don't want the opposite. You don't want to be a pushover where you always cooperate despite the fact that the other person is never reciprocating and they're always defecting on you. All of these things, when they're not matched with cooperation or defecting, lead to really toxic situations where you just have one person giving, and the other person taking. So, I think that is probably the best way to live a socially healthy life with the people around you is just to take note what's going on. And, I'm not saying you can't give second chances, but if someone defects in a way that you find to be unacceptable, it is okay to then decide that this relationship is different now and I don't have to cooperate anymore. I think that's fair. Hello, who's this?
Anna.
What's up?
How's it going?
What's going on? Who's this?
Hey, this is Jeff calling from Michigan.
Jeff Palm from Michigan. Oh, calling from Michigan. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you guys, I think a lot of you and Dr. Dan's comments is just going over Bubba's head.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Hilarious as hell.
I know.
Keep doing what you're doing. I just think Bubba's all too gimmicked up.
Yeah.
On the fuzzies, and he's not really.
On the fuzzies, I like that. No, I really
that was good.
Okay. I really appreciate you calling in to say that because I do feel like a lot is just left on the table. Like Dan will say something or I'll say something, and it's just not that I am expecting a laugh out loud laugh, but like you would sometimes you're like waiting for like at least a snicker or at least an acknowledgement that a joke or a pun was made or something. But yeah, so I appreciate it because sometimes I'm like, is anybody hearing us like say these things? So
yeah, and Dan made two /Schmovid comments there the other day, and they were hilarious, but I don't think Bubba got them at all. So
yeah, and I also understand when you're hosting a show, you really do have a lot of moving parts to pay attention to. So you're thinking about the next topic or the caller or the next break or the time. Yeah.
And I got son of a gun, the internet or the power went out, and it took me a while to find the rest on Rumble. But you guys did a great job, like recouping and telling the story and just being funny about it and
awesome
and everything. So listen every day, and I got 3 devices going all day. I just turn the shows on, listen to all the commercials, and podcast it, whatever I can do to help you guys out. So
thank you. We very much appreciate that. It was Dave, right, from Michigan? Jeff. Jesus, my short-term memory is gone.
Louis 3 on chat.
Louis 3 on chat. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I do appreciate you saying that.
Yep. I'd call the morning show, but Bubba would be, stupid God.
Hey, all I'll say is I get it. Yeah, you certainly don't want to be the one that tips him over the edge into a bad mood. So.
Right. All right. Well, have a good weekend, Anna.
Yeah, you as well. I'll see you tonight. Thank you. Appreciate you, Jeff. God bless. Hello, who's this?
Anna Hummel, Florida Stanley.
What's up, Florida Stanley? Are you in a car wash right now? What's going on?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm in Chicago at the airport, transferring to my Tokyo flight.
You're in O'Hare. Okay.
Yeah. This place is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I have a 7-hour layover, so I'm trying to find a bar to get drunk at while I finish up my computer work for my business while I'm gone.
7-hour layover, that's a filthy amount of time.
Well, it's dumb.
Can't really
I might leave because it's taking me underground. But it's dumb because, there's an earlier flight that's not full. So I don't understand why they wouldn't let me go on the earlier flight. So I'm going to go to that gate and try and find out.
When it comes to airlines and
7 hours.
Flights, logic is often left at the door, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Well, I've had I remember I was trying to catch it was actually in O'Hare actually. I was trying to go back to Michigan, which why would I want to do that, but I did. And I got to the gate and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry that the gate is closed." And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's open right here." And I swear to God, Florida Stanley, she just closed it right in front of me. She's like, "Oh, it is now." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So, yeah, that was, I ran across the airport. You know, I had a flight that was coming in late, and I tried to catch it. Yeah, exactly, kid. All right, I got to let you go. Yeah. It's really loud.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Bye.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do some meditation. Maybe not. I've been, maybe you guys catch me on camera doing this sometimes, but I've been trying to do some breath work a little bit. Help me slow down my heart rate. Because a lot of times it's like, and I was listening to Andrew Huberman, who I'm a big fan of, although I don't think I love him as much as everybody else. I'm very much on board with a lot of the stuff that he says and he does, and I find him to be an interesting person. I sometimes I feel like he's putting on an act. But anyways, nevertheless, first one of the day. He talks about if you're having like anxiety or you're feeling anxious, like you shouldn't try to combat that with like positive thoughts. Like that's probably a futile attempt to come at anxiety and be like, I'm just not going to be anxious or I'm grateful. He's like, the best way to combat it is to do something mechanical. Like go work out, go lift weights, do breath work. Like you actually have to change your physiology before. You can't just think like, I'm going to just think happy thoughts. So I've been trying to keep that in mind though. When I get really stressed, I'm like, don't say don't get stressed. Just start doing the like really deep inhale, hold it for a second, and then like really slow exhale. And that kind of keeps me like at bay, which is maybe you'll see me doing something. I did that a couple times during the right after Allie got on the Zoom call. I was just like, oh my God, fucking like I was, you know, when you feel sick because like you got so much adrenaline, you're just freaking the fuck out. And I just knew, and also like it depends on, things build on each other. So for example, you know, if something went wrong during that interview and everything else was going great this week, he might be, you know, Bubba might be a bit more forgiving or whatever. But when everything is already going wrong and so tumultuous and chaotic, the last thing you want to do is add one more thing to that chaotic plate from hell. So I was just so relieved when she connected with literally 50 seconds before we went live on the air, because I just felt like I didn't want to be the whipping boy again. So, but thank you, Allie. Appreciate you. Oh, let's see if this works. Ready? There we go. That was cute. Ooh, going outer space. Stand by. I think a song is coming. I'm not quite sure. We'll find out together. Music bumper. There it is. Dope. Thank you, Macho. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry, that was kind of more of a venting session for me, but, you know, you got to let it out. Better out than in. That's what I always say with pretty much everything. Get it out. Don't keep it in. Don't suppress it. But anyways, a lot of fun stuff. We got Bubba 199 tonight on Twitch and Rumble at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow we'll see you guys, hopefully, most of you guys, at Blend and Barrel. Is that right? Barrel and Blend? Some shit like that. It's in Sanford. Figure it out. I love you guys. I will see you tonight. And for those that can't make it, I'll see you on Monday morning. Goodbye.